Maverick. The body is the means by which ideas and aims are carried out, and therefore it must become both sensitive and proficient. Human beings need to synthesize how they feel, think and act, treating themselves as a whole person rather than as separate physical and mental qualities. In addition to embodied learning, Maverick's physical literacy program adopts several scientific theories into its design. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to adapt to changes in an individual's environment by forming new neural connections over time, the ability to master new skills, and the ability to store memories and information. Every movement of the body provides sensory feedback for the brain to process and adapt to. The brain is not a tape recorder, simply recording everything that comes its way. The brain is very choosy. In order to maximize learning and use those sensory inputs effectively, the brain looks for 4 key stimuli. It checks, is it novel? Because new experiences change how the cells combine, getting ready to make learning permanent. It needs repetition. Repeated exposure to the same stimulus communicates its importance to the brain, and this allows learning to become permanent. It has to be complex. Difficult patterns cause the brain to become more active because more areas of the brain are stimulated. As the body is designed to move and think at the same time, complex moves allows for greater cognition. And finally, it has to make you feel good. We repeat actions only when the feedback is emotionally positive. That is why it is so crucial never to make exercising a punishment. Every Maverick session satisfies these demands of neuroplasticity. Another scientific theory, rhythmic literacy, is the ability to control and differentiate the rhythm of an action according to the environmental demands in any particular situation. This enables the quick motor adjustment of the performer in an unpredictable environment, assuring success in performance. Rhythmic ability enhances pattern recognition and is acquired through participation in movement activities that require accurate response to rhythmic stimuli. Pattern recognition is the ability of the human brain to identify and act upon patterns. One of the most fundamental cognitive skills we possess, pattern recognition, has been crucial in our very survival and evolution. We use patterns to derive meaning without having to do a more detailed inspection. It is the ability to match information from an external stimuli with the information retrieved from our memory. We use patterns to read texts, to identify people, retrieve objects, find our way in a city, and so much more every moment of our life. Conscious pattern recognition can be improved by simply looking for patterns, but increasing our unconscious pattern recognition, that is, helping your brain to more effectively identify patterns that will increase your reaction times and help you become more efficient. This is achieved through kinesthetic movements, playing a sport, dancing, exercising, moving across various spaces, by increasing our working memory, which is switching tasks, which helps in sequencing. This is something that we focus so much on at Maverick. And the release of neurotransmitters after a good workout or activity that enhances our focus and our lateral thinking. Movement enhances the ability to recognize different patterns and transform them into actionable steps. Another interesting facet is Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence. He suggests that rather than seeing intelligence as a single general ability, it is differentiated into specific modalities: musical rhythmic, visual spatial, verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic, existential, and moral. Applying the principle of multiple intelligences empower learners by not restricting them to one modality of learning. Research reveals that the part of the brain that processes movement is the same part of the brain that processes learning. Various studies support the relationship between movement and the visual system, movement and the language system, movement and memory, and movement and attention. Movement helps us turn inspiring thoughts into positive actions. You see, our body learns to predict our movements before we execute them so that we can control our movements better. This mental process of predicting, sequencing, ordering, timing, and practicing a task before carrying it out is deep-rooted in all our motor activities. And now we understand that our brain makes such predictive and corrective actions regardless of whether it's dealing with a gross motor task sequence or a mentally rehearsed task sequence. Fundamental movement skills are planned and taught at Maverick by incorporating the executive function of the brain, reflecting the three principles of mental engagement: contextual interference, mental control, which is stopping, updating, and switching, and discovery, by using varied movement patterns and sporting movements. In conclusion, when our body is capable of aiding every desire, our mind is free from the clutter of unnecessary thoughts to flow with clarity, our intelligence is well-rounded to pick solutions from across genres, and our emotions are passionately involved in materializing the vision irrespective of the circumstances. In that state of holistic living, we begin to realize we no longer have to do a physical activity. We are the activity. Physical literacy is the attitude or disposition we carry to become the activity, rather than merely do sporadic activities on and off. In all, we at Maverick are very grateful that in learning and serving physical literacy, our lives have been enriched. It has become worthy. Thank you all for being a part of our journey. Maverick.